Today it's going to be a little bit different than the last time we met. We're just going to kind of delve deeper into the process. Last time, we're just kind of getting to know each other a little bit, and today we're really gonna, work on those thoughts, those feelings, those behaviors. So I'm going to start with an agenda, just so that I can stay on track and let you know what we're going to be doing throughout the session so that you're in the know and, so you can throw anything out there that you want to work on too. This is a collaborative effort, so if you feel like there's anything you would want to talk about or address, just let me know and we can add that in there. So first off, I wanted to kind of review cognitive behavioral therapy. I know last session we talked a lot about it, but I just kind of want to go over it again to refresh your mind, and then talk a little bit more about the treatment process, just kind of touch on that. And then I want to hear about kind of why you're here, what really brought you here, and what you want out of meeting with me. And then I'd like to go over some cognitive and behavioral techniques and skills to help you with, what's going on in your life, and whatever you bring up, then we can kind of touch on that. And then if we need to, we can go over some homework that you can work on until next session. And then we'll kind of summarize the whole process in the session. And then I'd like to get some feedback from you. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so last time we talked about CBT, and this was the sheet I handed to you last session. So to kind of summarize this, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT for short, it looks at how you think about yourself, the world, and other people. And it takes a perspective where your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors are all interconnected. So I'm here to help you make changes in those distortions in your mind, and the way you think and act as a result of those thoughts or feelings, and vice versa. So, like we talked about last time, how we think, feel, and act can be connected to the way we interpret an event, the people around us, the world in general. I know last time I gave you the example of a girl who feels, she's really self-conscious, and she walks out, she waves to someone in a parking lot, and the person doesn't see her, so they don't wave back. But she takes it as, everyone hates me. Do you remember that example?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I know we talked about automatic thoughts briefly, so I wanted to remind you of those. Those are just the stream of thoughts that are running through your head that you probably aren't even aware of. We're always thinking as humans. There's always these thoughts, running across our mind. And a lot of times those really do attribute to how we feel and how we behave. Okay, so next we'll just kind of go over the treatment process. Do you have any questions about cognitive behavioral therapy?
No.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer. So treatment will be based on kind of what's going on with you, your core beliefs, your situation. The sessions can go on for 6 weeks or more than a year. It just kind of depends on the individual. Treatment is individualized for each person.
Does everyone do it? Like everyone that I would talk to, do they use this behavior to analyze patients?
In cognitive behavioral therapy, or just therapy in general?
Therapy in general.
No, there's lots of different therapy modalities. So some people might use, person-centered, where it might be more free-flowing. There's lots of different, there's reality therapy. There's different types of cognitive behavioral therapy. There's tons and tons and tons of different types of therapy. But this is a very evidence-based practice. It's very backed up by a lot of evidence, proven to be very effective.
To see results.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking for.
Well, hopefully that's what we'll get at through this process. So I'm just hoping that through our sessions, you can lead a more satisfying life. So Kelly, would you talk more about what brought you in here?
Because I'm afraid to leave my house because I don't want to drive, period. But I know I have to at some point. Like, obviously, during the day, sometimes I have to drive.
So are you driving at all right now?
The bare minimal. For, only for, necessities. Like, if I have to go to work or if I have to go pick up a prescription. But other than that, I don't at all.
So what's it like when you are driving to work? You are going to pick up a prescription.
I'm a wreck the entire time because I'm literally afraid I will get in a wreck. I don't like to do it because it just drives me bananas, and I feel like I used to love driving, and then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I never wanted to drive again.
What happened to cause that? To cause you to just all of a sudden not want to drive anymore?
I had a really good friend get in a car wreck and pass away. And then my sister got hit by a drunken driver, and she just turned 16, and it flipped the car, and it just threw me through a loop, like how people why can't you drive normally? And now they put on the signs, on the roads, how many people have died a year in Tennessee. It's 842 now, or something like that, for just 2013, and they compare it to the last year. And I always think, am I going to be one of those people?
And, that is something that a lot of people struggle with. I find that a lot of people have a really hard time driving. So you're definitely not alone in that feeling because, people have experienced loved ones getting into car wrecks. So what are your feelings and your emotions when you're driving?
I get angry if people are tailing me, or if people are driving too quick, or if they don't turn on their signal. I will just yell out in my car at them. Or if I see someone do something wrong, I just think of what a terrible person they are. And then I think if they were in my lane, and they were behind me, they could potentially hurt me.
Okay, so you're feeling angry. Would it be fair to say you're feeling nervous and maybe a little scared? Okay. And kind of what are your thoughts? What are you thinking? I know you said you're thinking they could, if they're behind me, they could cause me to get in a wreck, or if they're in front of me, these people on the road. What are you, is there anything else that you're thinking about?
Not really. I'm just thinking I'm driving perfectly, because that's my first and foremost thought. Abide by all of the rules. But I'm obviously thinking about how everyone else is driving too around me. And I think that's what makes me most angry. Because I'm especially if I see someone texting, I'm you shouldn't be doing that. It makes me want to call in their license number.
So is the fear rooted mostly in, and correct me if I'm wrong, you getting in a wreck?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're really afraid to get out in your car, even leave the house, because you're so terrified of getting in a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to go over this worksheet with you, just so we can address these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and behaviors that are tied into your whole driving situation. You can fill it out on your own. Do you want me to fill it out?
You can fill it out.
Okay. So the situation and the trigger. So the situation would be driving.
Mm-hmm.
And is this any time that you're driving? I know, like, is there a certain trigger? Like, is there something that really, really gets you nervous? Or really, really gets you mad? Or really, really gets you
Right
mad?
when someone tails me.
Okay, so tailing. And then your feelings and emotions and the body sensations you're feeling. I know you said that you feel angry,
Mm-hmm.
nervous, scared. Are there any other emotions that you're feeling?
Not really.
Is it fair to say that you might be anxious, like taking nervous to a little bit further?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then your unhelpful thoughts or images in your head. I know you said that these people are going to cause me to get in a car wreck.
Mm-hmm. And I caused a car wreck one time, and I just constantly think of the man's face, of how upset he was at me.
Okay. So thinking about how someone would look
Yeah.
if I...
How they would feel, how mad they would be, how angry they would be.
If you caused a wreck.
And what they might think about me.
Okay. Okay, and then I know you said that you think about when you're in that situation, you think that if someone is driving, if someone's not being a good driver, then you think like they're a bad person. Do you think anything else about them?
I think that they don't know how to follow the rules, that they're not a good driver.
And then, is there anything else you're thinking about, like any scene or image or thought about driving?
Just videos I've seen about like how people get in car wrecks and the cause of them, and I always think there's so many different causes. You never know, like, when you could be one of them.
Okay. So, what are some facts that support these unhelpful thoughts or images? And we can take them individually. So these people are going to cause me to get in a car wreck. What are some facts behind that help support that thought in your head?
I caused a car wreck.
Okay. Okay, and then thinking about someone, thinking
Right.
about how someone would look, and thinking about the image of the man that you caused that wreck on. What facts or unhelpful thoughts support that?
I guess that's what I would say, like, I caused a car wreck, but, yeah, that I caused a car wreck.
Okay. And then the fact that you think if someone's a bad driver that they're a bad person. What supports that thought in your head?
Just not caring for other people. Like, I think about like the commercials where it's like you're giving your 16-year-old keys, you know, and it flashes them back to like being a child, giving your child keys. Like, why would you drive that way when potentially your own child could be on the road?
Okay, so you're thinking about the fact that there are like children driving that could be hurt.
Yeah, and just in general, like, why would the safety of other humans that everyone has, that the other person in front of you has a significant other. Why would you dare to damage their life?
Okay. So people have relationships that matter to them and could be damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is a fact that supports the videos about the car wrecks?
I saw one video called Driving While Distracted on the internet, and they didn't show it in the US because they only showed it in the UK, or because it was too graphic, and it just has always stuck with me.
Okay, so that was a actual video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be a fact. The video is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now I want to try and think of some evidence against your unhelpful thoughts and images. So you think people are going to cause me to get in a car wreck. So what is something that would be evidence against that thought?
I guess being a good driver, in general, you'll be able to avoid them.
Okay. You can avoid them because I'm a good driver. And then what about thinking about someone, how that man and how he looked, that man? What is something that you could think of that kind of helps you to think of that in a, you know, some fact or something that you can think of that kind of disputes that?
Everyone's going to have a bad time. You know, like there's always going to be that one time that you don't forget. Just with anything, maybe in general.
Okay, so like everyone makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, that everyone is a bad driver. Everyone who is a bad driver is a bad person.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
And then what about that video? Is there anything you can think of that might provide evidence against that unhelpful image?
That not every teenage girl you see is texting and driving.
All right, so now I want to think of some more realistic and balanced perspectives on, you know, I'm going to get in a car wreck. I'm going to cause a car wreck. You know, I mean, does your thought go, before I ask that, does your thought go any deeper about the wreck? Just something I probably should have asked earlier, but like, do you just think I'm going to get a car wreck? Is that the worst thing you think it's going to happen?
I think a lot about that video because it was so graphic and it just showed how she was texting, she got in a wreck, she like hurt so many people. She got in, like 3 other cars were injured or like were in the wreck, and a baby was one of them. Her 2 friends in the back, one in the back seat, one in the passenger. She was the only one that lived from the wreck. And I just like replay that thinking like, well, the worst might be like her.
Is
being the one that I don't want to drive anyone because I don't want to be that girl.
Okay. So you worried that you could get in an accident that could be potentially fatal for your passengers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So have you ever, I know you've been in that one accident, but was anyone really injured?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So in that one accident, have you been in any other accidents?
No.
Okay, so you've had one accident, and the person, no one was really injured, and so and you said that you're a really good driver, So that's something, you've had one accident. You have no one is injured. You said you're a really good driver. Is there anything else you can think of to kind of put these into perspective, all these negative thoughts and images that you're having?
No.
So you said the worst thing that could happen is that you could cause someone else to be in a fatal accident. What is the best outcome that could happen from a car crash?
Everyone would be completely okay, and the damage would be so minor that it's kind of like a brush off.
Mm-hmm. So that's something you could think about. Even if I do get in a wreck, it could be a very minor thing, and everyone could be okay. And I know you said that your sister was in a really bad accident. Was she okay after that accident?
She went to the chiropractor for a couple weeks because of her back, but overall, yeah, she was fine.
Okay, so is she having any health problems now?
Mm-mm.
So would you say that she's pretty healthy and happy, even though she experienced that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's something that you could. Hey, hold on, we're making a video. So that's something that you could think about is that, someone you love has been through that possibly what could be the worst situation, and they came out okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to write these all down so you could take this home with you and, go over it after the session. Okay, is there anything else you can think of that kind of puts this into perspective? More realistic.
That we're driving vehicles that are going 70 miles per hour, and you have to accept the risk when you drive them.
Okay, so just accepting the risk.
And it's something that everyone does.
So, after thinking about all of this, this whole column, and then this whole column, what is your emotion towards? Do you have like a little less of?
Yeah, just because it is like you have to accept that you can't not drive. And I always enjoy driving my friends, but it's like as long as you're a safe driver and you know what you're doing and you're not afraid of it, then you probably won't get in a wreck.
Okay, so you feel better after you feel like thinking about the situation, you wouldn't be as angry, nervous, scared, or anxious.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. This is something that you can keep and remind yourself.
Thank you.
And then one thing I want to ask you to see if you'd be comfortable. Would you be comfortable just maybe practicing your driving in a safe environment?
Mm-hmm.
I know you said you already drive to work and then only if you have to get a prescription or something that's a necessity. So that's something that I think might be helpful is for you to maybe just try driving out of your driveway and maybe a little bit down the street, kind of getting more
Acclimated.
acclimated to the whole drive.